course, they held out on us till the last minute here for us to see this, smartly, of course. But the Pokemon Winds and Waves got announced. So I'm going to pull this up just to have a backdrop for our conversation here. But these are going to be the two new mainline Pokemon games that are getting released. I will say, and Gavin, I think we talked about this in the pre-show. I think when I first saw like the first, let's say 30 seconds to a minute of this trailer, I was like, what are they talking about? Like, is this like a new Let's Go Pikachu game, or like, is this like a new mobile thing? Like, I just didn't know, especially you guys will see this here in a bit, but like, it didn't make a lot of sense that this was like a brand new game for us.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of exciting things coming. So I guess, Gavin, any initial reactions there, like in the
Yeah.
first 30 to
With
a minute?
this
Did you feel the
yeah,
same?
I felt a similar thing, like, once I kinda realized what they were doing, because it's almost like they're turning the page on each generation, like, with the book and the paintings, so they're turning the generation to the new, and so at first I was thinking, "Oh, are they, like, doing a new style of game?" Because like, it kinda looks like they're doing some
Hmm.
gameplay, but then, like, it's like a real person's arm opening up a door to, like, a beach house. I'm like, "No way they're, like, waiting till the end of the video to do, like, some sort of new type of game," and then as the YouTube watchers can see here, we've got a vacation parent Pikachu's here with one dad and a mom where they're dressed up in like a vacation outfits and they look a little tan to be honest. Like that, I don't think that's a regular Pikachu yellow there, and it just I was like, where's this going? And then it shows the Game Freak logo, so then everyone knows that it's a mainline Pokemon game, and then it starts showing these beautiful landscapes of like a Wailord breaching the water and spraying up, and like it just looks gorgeous. And then you see, just vivid landscapes, and then Pokemon in the wild environment, and the water looks incredible. Like it looks, like that's the best any water's ever looked. You run through, see it shows you running through like a molten cave, and there's some slugma on the ground that are like glowing, and like just the when as soon as I saw this, I kind of went in. I was like, maybe this will be on Switch. But as soon as I saw all this stuff, I was like, oh, there's no way. This game looks way too
Yeah,
pretty to be on only. It's going to be only on the Switch too. And then we get
right.
into
And
the new Pokemon show. And it's the new starters, and those are exciting.
yeah, absolutely. And we'll give a quick rundown of each of the three. Obviously, you can tell based off the color what they are. Obviously, this is the grass starter, fire starter, and then the water starter. And so each of their names, just going right to left, this is Gekwa, this is Pombon, and this is Brout. Obviously, you can tell that's why he's got a unibrow. But Gavin, you actually had a funny way of explaining what Brout looks like. So I'll actually give you the
Yeah,
opportunity to explain for the folks that aren't able to see this visually and they're just listening to the podcast. Like, what does
yeah.
Brout technically look like?
So the first thing that I thought of when I saw Brout on the announcement video was a combination of the Duolingo bird and an Angry Bird from the game Angry Birds. So like it's just got that, that perfectly round face of like the Angry Bird, but then he's kind of got the face and demeanor of the Duolingo bird. If you can picture that, you know exactly what Brout looks like, and he's got two leaves for his angry unibrow.
Exactly. Yeah. He almost looks like a young chick, like young chicken. But yeah, to
Mhm.
Gavin's point, he did a good job of explaining it and what it visually looks like. Pombon is basically what you would expect. It's a Pomeranian dog. And I'm assuming the bon part is like a bonfire, so we'll see how they actually play into that. But he is basically just a orange Pomeranian. He's got little flames at the top of his head. It's just like a red, accent piece, but pretty cool. My personal favorite, and I think Gavin, you might agree with this, but Gekwa is probably the one that I would go with if we. I will end up playing this eventually, but Gekwa is basically a gecko, and he's water based, and so he's got like a deep blue color, light blue eyelashes. He's got a little teardrop or water drop on the middle of his head. So very cool starters, and I'm interested to see too, like what their evolution will look like as well. Because typically they start cute and then they end up being a badass. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see
Yeah.
like that
Which
evolution and where they
my
go.
my one hope and plea with Game Freak, Pokemon Company, please do not turn Pombon into another Incineroar. Incineroar's cool. He's awesome, but we don't need another one. For those of you that don't know, back in Generation 8, the Alola region, Incineroar started off as a fire kitten, aka a Litten is the name of him. He's this cute little cat. And then he evolves into a buff dude. He's just a big luchador, which is a cool concept, but we've done it. We don't need to do it again. Keep it a cute dog. Like you can be a badass and you can still be a big dog. Like for if you're able to watch this on YouTube right now. We've got it pulled up. Litten, cute, adorable little cat. And then it evolves into Torracat, still on all fours, still a cat. And then you finally evolve it. Boom, that's just a buff dude. Why did we have to become a
Yeah.
bipedal anthropomorphic Pokemon? Like, we don't need that. Like, I don't know. It's just Incineroar is a cool Pokemon. All that stuff. I like him a lot, but we don't need another one. And that's my biggest fear is that Palmbon is just going to be Incineroar 2, Electric Boogaloo, and it's going to be the dog version of Incineroar. Just leave him on all fours. Let him be a cool dog, like a big old Pomeranian. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be cool. Just let it be the same or not be the
No,
same.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I kind of play both schools of thought. Like I would love to see something different where they do keep like the cuteness of the starter form into the ultimate form that they go to. But I will say, Incineroar, I've never played this game, but he looks pretty cool. So like I kind of play both schools of thought. Like you almost want the evolution to be like this badass that you grow up into. But I get what you're saying too,
That's
Gavin. Like
fine.
just do
I
something
just
different.
keep him as a not or just don't turn him bipedal. Like let him stay on all fours. Like I don't know. And also from those of you that play the competitive game know how this is probably one of the strongest Pokemon they've ever made. It's like no
Really.
joke. Yeah. His ability
Well,
intimidate.
especially with the dark type.
Yeah, the fire dark typing, his ability intimidate, his move set. He's literally one of the most staple, like most used Pokemon in all of competitive. As soon as he is allowed in a format, he is like instantly thrown into teams. And there's a real big YouTuber named Wolf Glick who's a former world champion, makes a lot of good YouTube videos, great content. If you're into that stuff, feel free to check him out. He's awesome, but he famously hates Incineroar because it's so strong and so OP. But then he uses it himself, so
I mean, you have to play the game, right? So
yeah.
play those OP characters for sure. Cool. I guess the last thing I'll ask you, Gavin, we talked about this in the pre-show. There's obviously wins and there's waves. We don't know much about what's going to differentiate the two quite yet. Obviously, this is just like the start of this kind of hype cycle that they're building. But out of just the vibes that you were able to see, Gavin, which one would you pick?
I think my initial thought was waves. I don't know. There's something about the cowboy hat kind of like deterred me. I don't know. Not that I hate cowboys or anything, but it didn't feel like match my vibe. And waves just feels cooler. And then real quick point on Gekwa. Gekwa's got the eye makeup that just absolutely slays. Like that's just some okay. Like that's got if that Pokemon doesn't end up like as a sassy like Gecko, I'll be like color me impressed that they decided to 180 that because that thing is gonna be a sassy queen of a Pokemon,
No, I love
guaranteed.
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, I'm
Yes.
definitely leaning towards waves personally. So what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm personally feeling the same way. I don't know exactly, like we mentioned, what will be the differentiating factor, but I think waves likely will be more my vibe. If you guys listened to the last podcast episode, I kind of mentioned that water type is probably my all-time favorite starter, at least. And so I think waves will likely lead to maybe a legendary Pokemon being a water type or something similar. So that's kind of where my head's at, though.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the big thing for me is like I said, initial thought was waves. Once we get closer to release, which they say to 2027, I'm hoping it's early, hoping it's first quarter at this point. I think they did that to allow themselves the breathing room and ability to kind of have it come out and be good. But once it gets closer, they'll start releasing more and more of the Pokedex for the Pokemon, and they'll start getting into the version exclusives. Usually they get data mined, which is a whole thing. But once those get found out, that's usually when I decide which game I want. That's when I decided when I went with Violet over Scarlet. And so that'll be my ultimate determining factor. I mean, you can always trade and get the Pokemon you want if you think about it.
Sure.
But it's
Yeah.
kind of how it's a way I help myself decide which one I want to get. But I'm excited for it. I wish it was coming out this year, but I don't want them to rush it out. And I'm hoping, like I said, when we talk about the Pokemon XP, the Fan Expo or whatever, hopefully maybe they'll be like, let's let's have some
Beta test.
playtesting there. Yeah, that would be awesome. Like that'd almost be a reason to go. Not take away anything else. Like if they have that, it'd be reason in and of itself to go.
For sure. For sure. Cool.